France won the World Cup. We celebrated that, and I had this joke where I said Africa won the World Cup. Right? And I was shocked at how angry a lot of French people got. And they were like, "Oh, Trevor, how can you say this? Why will you say these things? And, you know, this is horrible." And I was like, okay, I get it. Like, not everyone likes every joke that you tell, and I get that. But this was interesting. I got a letter from the ambassador of France, and I'll read it to you. It was about that joke. He says, "Sir, I watched with great attention when you spoke of the victory of the French team at the 2018 FIFA World Cup Russia. I heard your words about an African victory. Nothing could be less true." I could have said they were Scandinavian. As many of the players have already stated themselves, their parents may have come from another country, but the great majority of them, all but 2 out of 23, were born in France. They were educated in France. They learned to play soccer in France. They are French citizens. They are proud of their country, France. The rich and various backgrounds of these players is a reflection of France's diversity. Now, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I think it's more a reflection of France's colonialism. France does not refer to its citizens based on their race, religion, or origin. By calling them an African team, it seems you are denying their Frenchness. I understand what he's saying. What it turns out is, in France, a lot of like Nazis in that country use the fact that these players are of African descent to shit on their Frenchness, you know? So they go, "You're not French. You're from Africa. Go back to where you came from." My thing is, my opinion is, black people all over the world were celebrating the Africanness of the French players, right? Not in a negative way, but rather in a positive way, going, "Look at these Africans who can become French." People go, "They're not African, they're French." Then I'm like, why can't they be both? In order to be French, you have to erase everything that is African. When I read stories from Africa and when I watch what politicians say, especially in France, about African migrants, when they are unemployed, when they may commit a crime, or when they are considered unsavory, it's the African immigrants. When their children go on to provide a World Cup victory for France, we should only refer to them as France. And we even saw it with that African man who climbed the building to rescue the baby. Do you remember that? We watched him climb that building. He rescued the child. And then they gave him French citizenship. They said, "You are now French." So now I'm going, so is he now no longer African? Is that what you're saying? So when he was on the ground, he was African. And then he climbed up, and as soon as he rescued the baby, now he's French. So if he dropped the baby, the African dropped the baby. Like,